Hey, hey folks, I'm Kurt Schmidt. I'm the SMT coordinator and the teacher of SMT Environmental Science. For curriculum night, I want to talk to you a little bit about how we go through this 2020 school year and this remote learning 2.0. So first of all, hopefully you have access to the Canvas homepage. And if you go to the dashboard, you see that SMT Environmental Science is listed as one of the classes for your students. This is also how the students will access all of my content in my class. So once you click on that, you'll see that they have access to where they're going to turn things in, the notes, the instructions for the assignment, a recap of the Zoom meeting if they missed it or if they got logged off in the midst of a meeting. I normally post the video about 12 hours after the initial meeting. You'll also see that students have a link to the Zoom meeting itself and the passcode. This information should never be shared with anyone other than the student. Okay. You also see that all the office hours are listed and the Zoom storm time lessons or Zoom help sessions that will begin next Wednesday are also posted there too. I want to start asking for an RSVP to those so I know how many students to expect for each of the Wednesday help sessions. And then we go through and it goes through the entire week and also includes the welcome letter. So first I want to go through the welcome letter and then I want to come back to this page. Okay, so the welcome letter lists a number of key facts, including the labs we'll be doing in this next quarter. And a little bit about myself. I haven't told you anything about myself. I've been teaching at Skyview for about 6 years, but a number of years ago, I was in Burma teaching English at a library. And I found out the students didn't have a lot of English vocabulary surrounding science. So I ended up doing a science through English class where we did labs in a library in Burma. So I figured if we could do that, then we should be able to easily do labs in Vancouver in your homes. So the first one, the one they're working on while I'm recording this, is the paper airplane lab, just to get them used to the lab procedures and lab writing and the scientific method. But very quickly, we're going to move into biomes and into the environmental science content. And then we'll, as you see there, we'll also do quadrats as we go out into your neighborhood and look at plants. And then we'll be looking at how does birdseed scatter across islands. Okay, so there will be some materials that students will be asking you for. If for any reason you have problems paying for or finding any of this content, email me and we'll set up a time at Skyview for you to get the materials from me. But for the most part, things like recycled bottles, I'm hoping that if kids pay attention for a few days, they can get it at home easier than having to drive into school. Okay, hopefully by November, we're back in the classroom and we can do all the labs at school and labs no longer be done at home. Okay, back to our landing page here, you'll see that we have a to-do list. As soon as a student submits an assignment, it will drop off that list. Okay, so if they say they have everything done, this should be a blank section. Okay, it should come over to my to-do list to be graded. Okay, which also means there shouldn't be any arguments if I submitted it, but the teacher hasn't graded it yet. That is going to be what you look at in Skyward. But in Canvas, it'll be a real-time feedback of have they pressed submit or not, and is there any upcoming assignments that they need to be working on. Okay, and then the final pieces you might want to look at when you're at this is the calendar and the modules. So modules, the calendar, by the way, is right here. And it will list all of the classes and all of the Canvas assignments with that have dates attached to them. So I always attach dates to all my assignments. I post all of them on Canvas. If other teachers are also posting things on Canvas with the dates attached, those will also populate into this calendar and your students can color assign those for each class. Okay, so that was the calendar where if you want to look at all classes. Now if you want to look deeper into individual class, I've set up modules for environmental science. This first module is quite long as we get to know each other and we establish the scientific method. And what you'll see is there'll be notes, there'll be a video recap of the Zoom meeting, and there'll be the assignment. In this case, this is a practice task. All practice tasks for the semester is going to make 10% of the grade. And then you'll have master tasks like labs, projects, and exams make up 80% of the grade. And by the way, the remaining 10% will be a master task at the end of the semester, most likely an exam, assuming we have everything back in place. Okay, so this is where we can find all the content all the way back. And like I said, I'll keep adding to this throughout the semester. All right, now if we jump to some of the other content, specifically the lab that we're doing right now for the paper airplanes. Hopefully this lab will be done by the time you see this video, but the next lab will follow the same template here. Okay, so right now, students are reading and writing about paper airplanes. The next, they're going to be talking about biomes. Either way, they need to start by looking online and doing some research on credible sites around what is already known on that topic. Okay, so that will supplement the notes that I give. Once they have their information and they've summarized it into their introduction, then they can start saying, I'm going to change one thing, the introduction, I'm going to measure the second thing, the dependent, and then I'm going to keep everything else the same, the controls. And therefore, I have a hypothesis. If I change this, then that will change because of the theories I found in the introduction. And hopefully they say that a little bit better, and then they give me a numbered procedure. Normally with procedure, I'll have a lot of input into how they're going to set that up, but I also want them to write instructions that other people can follow. And if they're in a unique environment when they're building this, you know, what windows are they using? What kind of plastic bottles are they using? Those are all things that might be unique to their setting and will have to be in their procedure. Okay, and then they do a data table, they do some graphs, they note anything down, they write up their analysis and conclusion. So that would be a typical master task. And like I said, we'll see a few of those throughout the semester. Okay, so those are the big points for this class. As SMT coordinator, I think I'm going to take a quick minute and talk about the credits though as well. Okay, so SMT is embedded within Skyview. So Skyview has a total of 24 credits to graduate. If you're in SMT, 13 of those credits are going to be SMT classes. So hopefully all your freshmen are currently taking SMT English. They're probably taking SMT Algebra 1 or another SMT math class. And then they're taking SMT Environmental Science, which fulfills this electives in science, math, and technology. It's one of those 2 credits there. So they will go on from this year and take 3 more lab sciences towards their science, math, and technology magnet requirements. Okay. Another number of students are also taking one of their tech credits this year. It can be taken at any point. I know some seniors who can get 2 tech credits their senior year, so that can be taken in any sequence as well. If you're looking for a tech class, Introduction to Engineering and Computer Programming and Computer Science are great places to start, but there's a long list of those posted on the internet that we can come to at the end here. Okay, also you need to have 2 years of world language taken within high school, or you have to pass the advanced test with a score of 2. Okay, so I know we have a lot of students with rich language experience in their homes, so hopefully they can use some of that to take the exam and test out of the world languages. If they're an English language only home, then yeah, you'll have to take 2 years of high school world language. Okay, so let's finish with this list of classes. This is posted on the Skyview website. And what we see is the list I just discussed. But what's hard to stress is how many choices you have when it comes to technology. Any 2 of these will count. And from my experience, my son went through SMT. He took 4 years of this Project Lead the Way sequence, and then he also did graphic design. Okay, things like graphic design and photo and video are valuable because they meet your art credit for Skyview and they meet your tech credit for SMT. So I know that's a very popular option as well. Okay, but if I was to give any student advice, it'd be to take a coding class. I think if you're going to go into any science, math, or technology background, having a literacy in computer programming and how they work is always useful. Okay, and then the world languages again. All right, so if we come back to here, I just want to thank you all for coming and for watching this video. And if you have any questions, please email me. Students should be seeing me 2 or 3 times a week through Zoom sessions and are welcome to send me notes on their chat or talk to me during the Zoom session or also email me. And with that, have a good evening.